Good evening. I am Judge Deborah Thomas, and I currently sit on the Wayne County Circuit Court, where I have served for the last 17 years. And I want to thank Keep the Vote No Takeover Coalition for providing this forum this evening. And I want to talk about not just keeping the vote, I want to talk about keeping every last one of our rights in the Bill of Rights. That's what I want to talk about. I am seeking the nomination from the Michigan Democratic Party to be the Supreme Court candidate. That's a statewide race. Thank you. A lot of times we get lost when we start talking about the judges. We don't realize, we don't understand, we don't appreciate that the judges are listed on the nonpartisan section of the ballot. Nonpartisan. We don't even go to the nonpartisan because we always, oh, I'm not nonpartisan, I'm a Democrat. I just vote Democrat. Well, if you go straight Democrat, or straight Republican, or straight Green, or straight Labor, or straight Communist, you will not have voted for a single solitary judge in any court whatsoever. That's why I would say vote for justice first. Vote for justice first. And one of the reasons why I always ask you to vote for justice first is because when you put justice in the front of your mind, when you talk about fairness and equality, equal access and opportunity, when you put that in the front of your mind first, when you get finished voting for the judges and you start voting for all these other seats, we want justice in the executive branch, we want justice in the legislative branch, we want justice first, but we want justice all the way down, all the way through, from beginning to end, from first to last. Vote for justice first. My literature doesn't have any pretty pictures on it. Not a one. But it's got every last one of the Bill of Rights. And they're not teaching them in the school anymore like they used to. So I give them out. I don't care if you're 4, if you're 5, if you're 45, if you're 74, you need to know your rights. Because most of the people sitting up in this room right here, right now, do not know that in the state of Michigan, the accused no longer decides whether or not to have trial by judge or by jury. And if you listen to the news, you will know that a week ago, the Michigan Supreme Court majority issued an opinion that your credit score can be used in determining the rate of your insurance. If you're unemployed, if you're underemployed, your score is going to go down. And when economics are at their worst, a higher bill for insurance on a car you're mandated to have doesn't sound like justice to me. And if you've been listening to the news, I got 1 minute. I got to put this out there. If you were listening to the news this past weekend, the Michigan Supreme Court majority decided to go back to a case they decided last April. And without any legal basis whatsoever, decided to revisit the case. The case was about whether or not poor people have a right to have representation by attorneys and by expert witnesses in a system that affords them the necessary economics to get justice in the courthouse that the folks that are making three-figure salaries get because they can afford to pay for a lawyer. The Michigan Supreme Court said you don't even have to have a lawyer that's got money enough to get to and from the courthouse. You don't even have to be able to communicate with them effectively. I want every last one of my Bill of Rights. Every last one. And I'm not shy about it. That means the second one too. I'm going to close with this. I'm leaving copies, get more than one. You got a child, you got a grandchild, you got a neighbor. Everybody needs to know their rights. You don't know what you're losing if you don't know what you got. Asking for your support. Labor, and I'm leaving. Thank you. Labor has the largest voting bloc in the Michigan Democratic Party. The candidate for the Michigan Supreme Court will be decided at the Michigan Democratic Party Convention. That is August 29th, but you got to be a dues paid member of the Democratic Party by July 27th. And it's not enough for Detroit to be there. It's a statewide election. That means you got to call your cousin in Muskegon, your nephew in Saginaw, your niece over in Pontiac, and you got to tell them, pay your dues, come down to Cobo Hall on the 29th, and stand up for every last one of your rights, including number 13, because I'm not going back. And I'm not giving up a single right. Not one. I am Judge Deborah Thomas, your candidate for Michigan Supreme Court. I'm asking for your support. Call somebody in labor and ask them to support Judge Deborah Thomas.